Prabhu, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Please, I will need to share screen. Maybe you can.
Yeah, I'm giving you the host. I'll be giving you the host. I just want the student to come. Okay, I can share. Give you co-host now so that you can share, and later I'll give you the host so that you can manage the.
No problem. No problem.
Other things. Then I'll come back towards the end of the class for Bhakti Viber.
No problem.
Yes. So I'll wait for just a few more students to come, then so we can do a proper introduction. There are only 2 students here yet.
I can still not share my screen
only
because
one person. Okay. Let me give you the host directly.
Yes. So that I can share I want to share screen.
Okay, no problem. You're host now, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Okay, you're logged on 2 systems, phone and
one is phone, and the other one is computer, so that I can, yes.
It's okay. Raman Prakash Prabhu, you are welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yes, you make me host, I will record and then you take back.
Okay, I can.
No, as a host, I can make you to record.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can just give him permission for recording.
I can give you permission to record.
Yes.
You can record now, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, thank you. Okay, you can take it back. Thank you.
No, I don't need to take, I don't need to give. You can just record. I've allowed you.
Okay, thank you. It is on pause. When Maharaj will speak, then I will start again.
No problem, Prabhu.
Okay.
Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana प्रभु प्रेमामृतां बनिधि धीर धीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो पूजित श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव भारा वहन तारक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालक कृष्ण कीर्तन गान कीर्तन गान नर्तन परम प्रेम वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो निर्माण पूजित चैतन्य कृपा भरौ श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव मारव अंतरक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालक विचारणैकमि पुनः सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण करो विचारणैकं पुनः धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं भुवने मन्नं शरण निपुणा तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं विचारणैकनिपुणं तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं Radha Krishna Radha Krishna Padarabindau Bhajanamritau Radha Krishna Padarabindau Madala Nandela Mattalika Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghujugal Siji Krishna Kitala Dana Natala Parau Prema Manidhi Veera Veera Janapriya Nirma Udita Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuva Mara Manta Rakau Bande Rupa Chanatanam Yakudiga Vasudasudasure Vidushchatasure Siddharajalakim Dharmisha Ajavadasa Jadagada Ranna Takva Mandalasani sada tuchava bhutvadina ganeshako karunaya Vakvasudu Mandalapati Sanim Sada Tuchava Bhutvadina Ganeshako Karunaya Kopina Kanhasita Gopi Bhavara Samritabdalahari Gopi Bhavara Samritabdalahari Kallo Lamagnam Maha Bande Rupa Sanatana Ragajugau Sriji Bhago Palaka
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kavikarnapura, Prabhu. There are only 2 students. I don't know why sometimes these students they take so long time to come.
How many students do we have in total?
I'm not sure how many are still remaining on there, but sometimes they are up to 12 students on this class. Sometimes more than that. I don't know exactly how many are there now, but I'm sure I knew that Chaitanya Prema Prabhu still reminded this morning on the platform, but for present, none of them have come on. So what do you suggest now?
Prabhu, we start. We start because it's like late coming has become the culture, and once something has become a culture, there's no any other strategy that can work.
Okay, so because I will be exiting in a few minutes from here, I want to formally welcome you, His Grace Kavikarnapura Prabhu, for this wonderful service of teaching Bhakti Sastri, Unit 3, covering from chapter 13 to 15 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And the moderator, the Minister for Education for West Africa is not online now. He's supposed to do a formal introduction of the teacher to the students, but because he's not around, he has delegated that I should do this on his behalf. So for the 2 students that are here, I want to formally introduce to you the teacher for the Unit 3, part 1 of Unit 3, who is in the person of His Grace Kavikarnapura Prabhu. Kavikarnapura Prabhu is a senior disciple of His Holiness Kapachandra Swami Maharaj. He has been trained and served in several capacities as a temple president, in many areas of the devotional activities. He has studied from Mayapur, Bhakti Sastri from Mayapur Institute himself. He has studied Bhakti Bhava. He has gone to the GBC College. He has actually engaged in so many areas of studies under the Mayapur Institute. So he's a well-qualified individual to take this course. So I am requesting that you all give him a very supportive attitude throughout the course of the Unit 3 Part 1 section. So His Grace Kavikarnapura Prabhu. We welcome you once again.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the introduction. Yes, I'm very happy to be on this platform to render this service. So let's see how it goes. So I want to appreciate the devotees who have taken their time to be punctual, which is very nice. Saramayi Mataji and BDD Damodar, BDD Swami Archive. I don't know. Prabhuji, what is your name? Sorry, is that your name?
My name is Ram Prakash Bhanti. Ram Prakash.
Ram Prakash. So we're very happy. I think
Prabhu, if it is possible, you can put on your video for introduction.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So I will request that we always try to leave our video on so that we can be looking at ourselves face to face.
Very good. Thank you.
It's going to be more. It's going to be very interactive lecturing, because this is not like younger learning. It's more of adult education. It's going to be more interactive. I'm very sure you have read Bhagavad Gita sometime. Also, you have read Bhagavatam and other literature of Srila Prabhupada. So we are going to make it very interactive. So we whatever we share. I'm just appointed to be the facilitator. So I'm facilitating. I'm not teaching. I'm facilitating for you to understand more deeper of what the Bhagavad Gita from chapter 13 to 15. So I'm facilitating this course. So, but make it more interactive. So thank you very much to be present. So let me just try to share what we are going to be going through today. Just 1 minute. So you're welcome, Prabhu. So we're starting from Unit 3. This Unit 3 comprises of, part of it is chapter 13, 14, and 15. And in these chapters, we're going to be going through 10 lessons. So the first lesson is from test 1 to 7, which we're going to take today. Let's see how much we can do justice to that from test 1, chapter 13, 1 to 7. So tomorrow we're going to do lesson 2. And in the coming weeks also, we're going to finish all these lessons. So in total, it's 10 lessons we're going to be taking in these 3 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And the one we are going to be taking today is chapter 13. As I said earlier on, it's going to be from test 1 to 7. So chapter 13 is nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness. It's a very nice chapter because it deals with Gyan, knowledge. It's a very, very, very wonderful chapter. We are going to enjoy it together. We are going to, and I will request the student, please always read the chapter and the purport before coming to class so that it can be more interactive as much as possible. This is not one-way lecturing. It's going to be two-way. If one, as I'm facilitating the lecture, if there's anything that interests you in the purport or in the verse, and you want to share with other students, you want to share with the facilitator, you draw our attention to it. So it's going to be more interactive program. So I will request you, please, before the class, read the chapter and the purport of the verse we are going to do next. So today is lesson 1. We're going to take from test 1 to 7. So the link from this previous chapter. So in the middle of chapter 6, in the middle 6 chapters, that is from 7 to 12. So Krishna described Bhakti Yoga along with the precise nature of the Jiva. And the Lord and matter and how they related. So if we have studied the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, I don't know who have facilitated that, but we can see that from the chapter 2 to 16 is more of Nishkama Kama Yoga, about the Jiva and about the activity of the Jiva that connects the Jiva to devotional service. So Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan call it Nishkama Karma Yoga. And then when in the middle chapter, from chapter 7 to 12 is more about the supreme personality of Godhead and the nature, Prakriti, and how it's being connected to devotional service. And that is why in chapter 12, before this chapter, Krishna made it very clear from text 8 to 12 of that particular chapter. Chapter 8, text 12 of that particular, how the highest bhakti to want to fix one's mind to Krishna. Completely fixing mind to Krishna is the topmost bhakti. And Krishna gave us alternative. If you cannot fix your mind, engage in regulative devotional service. If you cannot engage in regulative devotional service, try to act, giving up the result of your action. If you cannot do this, so Krishna gave so many alternatives. And at the end, he say, even though if you cannot engage in devotional service and all this, try to cultivate knowledge. I heard that knowledge is realization of the fruit of action. And then towards the end of that chapter, Krishna gave all the wonderful qualities that endear devotee to him. So now Krishna has, now in this chapter now, after Krishna has explained all this in chapter 12, now Arjuna wants to know more about the jiva, living entity. So Arjuna asks 6 questions. So Prabhu, I will ask Ram Prakash, is it Prakash Prabhu, please, can you read? Are you seeing what I'm saying? Yes, try to unmute yourself and read, Prabhu. Unmute yourself, Prabhu, we are not hearing you.
Yes, okay, now I can. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the knower of the body, the living entity, and the position by which he can understand the Supreme Lord are described. In the middle 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the relationship between the individual soul and the super soul in regard to devotional service are described. The superior position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the subordinate position of the individual soul are definitely defined in these chapters. The living entities are subordinate under all circumstances, but in their forgetfulness, they are suffering. When enlightened by pious activities, they approach the Supreme Lord in different capacities, as the distressed, those in want of money, the inquisitive, and those in search of knowledge. That is also described. Now, starting with the 13th chapter, how the living entity comes in contact with material nature and how he is delivered by the Supreme Lord through the different method of fruitive activities. Cultivation of knowledge and the discharge of devotional service are explained. Purport 13.1.2.
So Prabhupada, in the purport of chapter 13, text 1 and 2, he gave us the link to the previous chapters. So now Krishna wants to give us knowledge. And in the beginning of this chapter, Arjuna asks 6 questions. Arjuna uvacha, prakritim purusham chaiva, chetram chetragyam hevacha, etam veditu ichami gyam geyan chakechava. So these are the 6 questions. I just put the numbers there so that we can know the Sanskrit. Question number 1, Arjuna asks, Arjuna inquired, Prakritim, what is Prakritim? What is Purusha? Chetram, what is the feed and the knower of the feed? Gyan, what is knowledge and object of the knowledge? So these 6 questions Arjuna asks in verse 1 of the chapter 13. And here we are putting in table so that we can see. So Arjuna asks these 6 questions. So you can see Prakriti, Purusha, Chetram, Chetragyam, Gyanam, Gayam. These are the 6 questions Arjuna asks. So in the text 2, Krishna immediately starts responding. And he responds to the question number 3, that is Chetram. Idam Sharinam Kaunteya. This body, Kaunteya, is the feed. It is Abhidyate. It is called. This feed, Abhidyate means is called Kshetram, feed. What? Idam Sariram, the body. This body is called the field. That is what Krishna is saying. This is how he started the verse. Say, this body is called the field. Idam Sariram, Counteya. Kshetram iti abidiyate. It is called. Then it goes further. Etayo veti tam prahu. To those who know prahu, call Kshetragya. Iti tarvida. They are called the knower of the field. Who? Etayo veti. Those who know. So the knower of the body is called Kshetragya, one who knows the body, who knows the field. So this is how Krishna responded in verse 2 of that chapter. So he gave the answer to what is the field and the knower of the field. So in test 3, it goes further to explain, answer the question to question number 5. So Krishna answered that in test 3. Kshetra gyam chapimam bidi. Sarva kshetre shubharata. Kshetra gyayor gyanam. Yatha gyana mata mama. This is my opinion. Yeah? Mata mama. Is it Krishna, although Krishna is the supreme authority, but sometimes he speaks as if it depends on his other authority also, which is very wonderful. And we are going to discuss more about this in this particular lesson. Yes, we are going to discuss more. When we reach the verse 5 and 6, we are going to talk more about this. Krishna is saying here, Mata Mama. This is my opinion. Say, Chetra Gyam Chapimambi, the Sarva Cheritre Shubharata, Ocean of Bharata. You should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. So Krishna made it very clear here, what is knowledge? And that is why we see in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna started by describing the soul. So Krishna started the lecture to Arjuna by describing the soul. And here he's saying, one who knows the soul and the knower of the soul is in knowledge. You should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called, this is knowledge. And that is why that is the beginning of devotional service, to understand who we are, what is nature, and who is God. Because unless we understand this, we cannot make progress in devotional service. Why? Chaitanya Prabhu mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that the scripture is divided into 3. Every scripture we are studying, we are reading, is divided into 3. Sambandham, Abhideya, and Prayojan. Whatever we are reading in the scripture is divided into these 3 categories. What is Sambandham? Sambandham is the knowledge about God, about the living entity, about the material nature. Unless we are in knowledge, we have this knowledge, we cannot even properly engage in devotional service. Yes, devotional service is I2K. It's costless, apratiyata, uninterrupted also. But why Krishna is taking his time to explain from this chapter the Gyan? Because also knowledge is very important in engaging in devotional service. And that is why we see at the end of this particular 6 chapters from 13 to 18, we're going to see that Arjuna will surrender. Because Krishna will say, now I've given you all the knowledge. Now you can do whatever you like. So it means that when we have adequate knowledge, we make right choices. So adequate knowledge is very important in making choice in life. I was saying, I made one video, I was describing how our life is from A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. What is the meaning of this? A means at a particular time in life, due to the coming together of our parents, we appear in the womb. That is A, appearance. We appear in our womb. We don't know where we are coming from. Somehow or the other, we find ourselves in our mother's womb. So we appear there. That is A. Then after some months in the womb, we take birth into this world. That is B. And as we are growing up, we started, knowledge is very important. We started acquiring knowledge from our parents. They are the first authority of knowledge to us. They tell us this is plate, this is spoon, this is sit down. You know, in any language you are in, your mother, your father start teaching you, giving you knowledge. This is how you respect the elders. This is how you sit down. This is where you do what to do. So we started acquiring knowledge. So like this, then as if that one is not enough, we are sent to school to acquire more knowledge. Why? So that we can make right choice in life. So once we get to teenager, when we can decide our life, then we start making choices. That is C. Sometimes we make wrong choice, sometimes we make right choice. And based on this choice we make, we determine whether we are going to live a happy life or we are going to live a miserable life. And that is why it's very important also that on the part of devotional service, we should try as much as possible to dedicate, ample time for cultivating knowledge. Very, very important. And that is what we are doing here. So here, Krishna is saying, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. So in the purport to that particular verse, Prabhupada gave a very nice analogy. We as a soul, we can only know what is going on in our body. We cannot know what is going on in other person's body. No matter how caring and loving you are, you cannot feel other people's pain or pleasure. If I'm feeling a particular pain now, you will not be able to understand what I'm feeling. Oh, I'm feeling a serious headache. I can only try to describe to you in mouth, but you cannot feel it. If I'm feeling anxiety, you cannot feel it. I can only try to explain or describe to you whatever I'm feeling. But because Krishna is the supreme knower, so he can feel all, so he understands all. And that's why Prabhupada gave the example, gave the analogy in that purport. We should always take note of our analogies, Prabhupada's analogy in the purport, because they help in explaining the philosophy to others. So Prabhupada said, the king is the original controller of all the activity of the state. The citizens are secondary controller. How? In every country you go on this planet, you see that in every offices or any organizations, you will see the picture of the president in the office. Why? Is the president running the place for them? No. But why is the picture put there? The picture is put there because whatever policy the government has put in place is affecting that organization. Whatever policy in business, in relating, in whatever, in transactions, the government has put in place is affecting every aspect of the country. And that is why you will see every of the organization, they have duly registered also to the government. So they have to abide by the law of that country. And that is why you will see the picture of the head of state or the president in that organization. You will see it there. So similarly, Prabhupada is giving an example here. So why Krishna is the knower of all bodies? I will give an example. When we study creation, maybe when you start doing your Bhakti by Baba in Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, you're going to study very deeply about creation. It's nicely explained in the Canto 3. Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu, we have Gabodakashai Vishnu. So Gabodakashai Vishnu expands himself, and all the whole universe, they are inside this Gabodakashai Vishnu. So the universe itself is the body of Gabodakashai Vishnu. Just like in your body now, there are so many cells living in your body. And those cells, they are there in different parts of your body. And that is why you see sometimes we can feel pain in some part of our body. We can feel some pleasure in a part of our body, because why? We are fully conscious of whatever is going on in our particular body. So similarly also, Vishnu, who is the body of the universe, is the super consciousness of the universe. He feels whatever is going on in the universe. And that is why he is the super soul. And for him to be more intimate with us, he expands himself again to Shirudakashai Vishnu. This is how wonderful the Lord is. So he expands himself into Shirudakashai. So that is why the Lord is the only one who can feel everyone's pains, everyone's pleasure. We as individuals, so we can only feel our own pain and pleasure. And that is why Prabhupada is very, very strongly against the Mayavadis, who thinks that they can be one with God, or at a particular time they become God, which is not possible. Because the soul is individual and the super soul is completely different. It's individual also. So I want someone to read this analogy. Already I've explained it. Saramai Gopi Mataji, please, are you there? Is Mataji there? Yes, you can unmute yourself and read.
1 minute. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please, we are hearing you. Please, you can read.
Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present as the Super Soul in all bodies, knows everything about all bodies. He knows all the different bodies of all the various species of life. The citizen may know everything about his patch of land, but the king knows not only his place, but all the properties possessed by the individual citizen. Similarly, one may be the proprietor of the body individually, but the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of all bodies. The king is the original proprietor of the kingdom, and the citizen is the secondary proprietor. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the supreme proprietor of all bodies. Purport, chapter 13, text 3. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So that is the analogy I just explained now about the chapter text 3. Aswini Kumar Prabhu, please, can you read this? Unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself and read. You can start again, please.
Perfect knowledge of the constitution of the body, the constitution of the individual soul, and the constitution of the super soul is known in terms of Vedic literature as jnana. This is the opinion of Krishna. To understand both the soul and the super soul as one, yet distinct, is knowledge. One who does not understand the field of activity and the knower of activity is not in perfect knowledge. One has to understand the position of Prakriti, nature, Purusa, the enjoyer of nature, and Ishwara, the knower who dominates or controls nature, and the individual soul. Purport, chapter 13, text 3. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna, Prabhupada is explaining in this purport what is perfect knowledge. To know the difference between the super soul and the soul. It's the soul, like many Mayavadis, they miss this point. And that is why Prabhupada, you can see in every of it, that's why Prabhupada pranam is Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarini. So Prabhupada is every of his purport, as much as he's emphasizing on pure devotional service, whenever he come across this kind of points also, he makes sure that he emphasizes more on this to make us understand the difference between the soul and the super soul. We have the soul in the heart, and the super soul also as well is there. And that is why we see in chapter 2, Prabhupada explained one of the purpose in chapter 2 also, how the soul is like the bird eating the fruit on the tree of life. Sometimes you eat a sweet fruit, sometimes you eat bitter fruit. But the super soul is always there. In later of this verse, we're going to read. What is his duty? We're going to read it. He's there watching and seeing the activity of the soul. So to understand the difference between the soul and the super soul and the body is perfect knowledge. This is what Prabhupada is explaining in this purport. So now we're going to go to test number 4. Bhakti Prince, please, can you read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Help me for the Sanskrit so that I will start reading.
You can read the English alone. I put only the English here. It's on the board.
Now, please hear my brief description of this field of activities and activity and how it is constituted, what it is changed are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what is influence are. Purport. The Lord is describing the field of.
Don't worry about the purport. Okay. Thank you. You can read the purport at your own free time. So yeah, the translation of text 4. Krishna is now explaining to Arjuna what is going to explain in the later verses of chapter 13. Now, please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it's constituted. What its changes are, whence is produced, who that knower of the field of activity is, and what is its influence are. So Krishna is giving us intro to what he's going to explain in the later verses. How the body is constituted, how is changing, and what is it produced, and the knower of the field, the Supreme Lord himself, the living entity himself, and how the Lord influences the body and the soul. So Krishna is going to explain all this in the later. So I've already put it in a 5 points. So Krishna is going to elaborate more on this, how the body is constituted, which is explained in text 6 and 7. We're going to read it today. We're still going to cover that today. Then what changes the body undergo? That is explained in verses 7 and 20. How, when, and where the body is produced. That is explained in verse 6, 21, 22, and 30. Then the identity of the knower of the field of activity explained in verses 14 to 18 and 23. And the influence of the knower explained in verse 14 and to 18. This is from Surrender Unto Me. So now, we now go to text 5. Krishna is saying, this is very interesting. Say, Rishi B Bahudara Gaitam. Krishna is quoting the sages. Yeah? He said, Rishi B Bahudara Gaitam. Shandu Bir Vividhai Priktak. Brahma Sutra Badais Chaiva. Etuma Bir Vinis Chitahi. So Krishna is saying that knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activity is described by various sages. You see, if Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, he doesn't need to quote the sage or any sages. He himself is authority. He is authority himself. He doesn't need to quote anyone. But here, Krishna is showing that we cannot be island of knowledge. So he's making reference to the sages. It is especially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to the cause and effect. So this, we are still on the knowledge of the field of activity, the body. So the knowledge of the field of activity and of the knower of the activity, and is described by various sages in the various Vedic written, is especially presented in Vedanta. So Krishna, in the purport, when we study the purport, particularly the purport of this verse 5, there we're going to see how this field of activity is divided into 5. And the Anamaya, Pranamaya, Gyanamaya. How many of us have read this purport of these verses? Just indicate by raising your hand. Have you gone through the purports? No. How many of us have gone through the purports? Hare Krishna, can you hear me? How many of us have gone through the purports? We have not gone through the purports? No? Or we are just reading the purport now? We are supposed to read the purport before the class. So what I'm saying is that, so in the purport to chapter 5, we can see in the beginning, if we go through in the beginning of the purport, Prabhupada, explain how Krishna, even though Krishna is the supreme authority, but he's still making reference to the sages, to the Vedanta Sutra compiled by the Vyasadeva. And Prabhupada specifically mentioned, quoting Valadev Vidyabhushan, how Parasara Muni happens to be the authority in this aspect. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the highest authority, is explaining this knowledge. Still, as a matter of course, learned scholars and standard authority always give evidence from previous authority. Krishna is explaining this most controversial point regarding the duality and non-duality of the soul and super soul by referring to the scripture. That is it. So if Krishna can refer to scripture while speaking, who are we? So we can see this Brahma Pucham is explained. Brahma Pucha Padisra is explained in this particular in this purport. Very nicely, Prabhupada explained it. How Anamaya, how all of us will pass through this consciousness. Anamaya process, when we only depend on food. We know God only because He's giving us our daily bread. We pray to God, please, Jam Dei, give me money, give me this. We know that God exists because he has to provide food for us. That is the lowest consciousness of God realization. Only pray, please give me food, give me shelter, give me protection. This is lowest level of God realization. Higher than that is living symptoms, pranamaya. We only worship God because we want to. We are alive. We thank God because we are alive. We recognize Him because we are alive. This is another lower consciousness. Higher than that is Jnana Maya, thinking, feeling, and willing. Whereby our thinking, our feeling, and willing, we realize that the Lord is there. So according to Valadev Vidyabhushan, these three categories is on the level of Kshetra, field of activities, is regarding to the body. This Anamaya, Pranamaya, and Jnanamaya. It's on the platform of the body. Higher than that is Vijnanamaya, where we are able to distinguish between the body and the soul. And that is on the platform of Kshetra Gyan. You know, Krishna explained about Kshetra Gyan, and he explained about Kshetra Gyan and the Kshetra Gayo. That is, he is the knower of the, Krishna is the supreme knower of both the knower of the body and the body itself. So Vijnana Maya is on the platform of Kshetra Gyan. Once we know the difference between our body and the soul, we are on the Vijnana Maya platform. But someone on the Anamaya, Pranamaya, and Jnana Maya is still on the bodily platform. Immediately you come to the level of Vijnana Maya, you're on the platform of Kshetra Gyan, or who knows the difference between the body and the soul. Higher than that all is Ananda Maya. That is a platform where one realizes the difference between the super soul, the soul, and the body. There's a clear difference between the body, the soul, and the super soul. When one realizes this, one is on the platform of Ananda Maya. And it's on that platform one can realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As explained by Srila Prabhupada in the purport, Prabhupada says that only in this platform can one attain the full bliss, because the living entity is Ananda Maya Biasat. We are all pleasure-seeking living entity. Only when we come to this Ananda Maya platform that we can really experience that bliss we are looking for. So now we go to this, towards the end of the purport of this chapter 13, Prabhupada make a very salient point. He said, it is mentioned here that the codes of Brahma Sutra are very nicely arranged according to cause and effect. Some of the sutras or aphorism are Naviyad Ashutehe 232, Natma Shrutehe 2318, and Parat 2 Tachrutehe 2340. What is the meaning of all these aphorisms? The first aphorism indicates the field of activities. The second indicates the living entity. And the third indicates the Supreme Lord. And which is what I just explained in this here. The fourth aphorism indicates this Anamaya, Pranamaya, and Jnanamaya. That is on the platform of the living entity, the body. Sorry, the field of activity, the body. Then the second one, Vijnana Maya, is on the platform of the living entity, the soul itself. And the third one, which is Ananda Maya, is on the platform of the Supreme Lord himself. So what the Lord is saying here is, he said, and the third indicates the Supreme Lord is Summum Bolum, among all the manifestation of various entities. So in all the Brahma Sutra, we are going to come across these aphorisms again. That is what Prabhupada is trying to mention here. Because everything about the cosmic creation is about Prakriti, material nature, the field of activity itself, about the living entity who is trying to exploit this material nature, about the Supreme Lord, who is the controller of both the field and the living entity. In everywhere we go, we are going to meet these three aspects of the Lord again and again. So now we're going to do some exercise, and I'm going to, you can write, I'm going to give a individual what you should think and write down. Then at the end of, I'm going to give like about 5 minutes to think, we can write, then everybody will come with their own answer. Ram Prakash Prabhu. So you are going to take the exercise number 1. You write, what happens if a devotee accepts to follow any of this authority alone? Number 1, you're going to write, if a devotee accepts to follow lay guru without orders, without following Shastra and Sadhu, what is going to happen? That is for Ram Prakash Prabhu. Sarvamai Mataji. So you are going to take the second one. I hope we are hearing. Yes, so you are going to write, Sarama Mataji, you are going to write, if a devotee takes only instruction from sadhu without regarding Shastra and Guru, what is going to happen? And Ashwini Kumar Prabhu, you are going to take this, if a devotee take instruction from only Shastra without regarding sadhu and Guru, what is going to happen? What misconception and malpractice could arise from taking such stance? That is Ashwini Kumar Prabhu. And who again is there? I think, okay. And I think that is all for now. So let us share it again. So second one, Ram Prakash Prabhu, you are going to write again. Now you are taking two exercises. One is only Guru. Now you are going to write, if a devotee take instruction from Sadhu and Shastra omitting Guru, what malpractice and misconception is going to come from that? I hope you are taking note of that second one, Ram Prakash Prabhu. And the second one, Savramai Mataji, you are going to write, if a devotee take instruction from Guru and Shastra omitting Sadhu, or you have taken only Sadhu, now you are going to write on taking only Guru and Shastra, omitting Sadhu. Sorry, what are you saying? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, but I can't, now I did it, but it is by side you and you muted us. What I'm saying, what is my, is second one, no? Only Shastra.
First one is only Sadhu.
Only Sadhu.
And omitting Guru and Shastra.
And
the second one is a devotee is accepting authority from only Guru and Shastra, omitting Sadhu.
I should write this also.
Yes. And Ashwini Kumar Prabhu, you're going to take the last one. A devotee taking accept follow any of this authority alone. Sadhu and Guru omitting Shastra. Ashwini Kumar Prabhu, are you there? You understand?
I'm listening.
Yeah, so we are going to write on that also. So I'm just going to give us about 5 minutes. By 9:31, we will come back. Just take your time here. Write whatever you think, we think deeply, and write what will be the result of this. What misconception and malpractice will arise from taking such stance. So we'll come back again.
Tadharma Samastapaka Lokanang Hitokarinang Tribhuvane Mannang Saranla Sri Chaitanya Kripa Barav Lokanang Hitakarinang Tribhumane Mannang Sarana Karam. विचारणैकन गुणं तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण्यकरं राधा कृष्ण राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजनामृतौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजना नन्देन मत्तालिका वन्दे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगौ श्रीजी कीर्तन गान नर्तन परौ प्रेम निधि वीर वीर जनप्रिय पूजित श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुवा मारा महंत रखौ वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुग वासुद सदसुरे
Hare Krishna. So we are welcome back. So let us start from Ram Prakash Prabhu.
Yes.
Please, what will happen if a devotee accepts following this authority, guru, without following the Shastra and Sadhu? Please tell us from your own realization and on what you have put down.
His knowledge will be limited. He will be perfect. He will think himself he knows everything. The Shastra and Sadhu are equally important. They are complement to the instruction of the Guru. Humility will develop in the devotee.
Okay, let me quickly go to the second one. You are supposed to be doing Sadhu and Shastra or meeting Guru also. So please tell us your realization from that also.
Sadhu and Shastra, if he omits, yes, he will misinterpret Shastra and offend Sadhu if he omit Guru. Guru is he will read in between the lines. Everything is not available in the Shastra. We can misinterpret the Shastra without a Guru.
Thank you very much, Ram Prakash Prabhu. So, in your own life, from now on, how are you going to apply this when maybe you have to guide others in the scriptures or the Guru, you have to explain to other devotees? So, how are you going to practically apply this into your own practical life?
We have to take into consideration Guru, Sastra, and Sadhu.
So this is a kind of exercise for practical personal application. So when we are answering this question, we have to say, from now I will be doing I. You will say I, this. That is how to, when I'm asking, how are you going to apply this? So you will say I. So please, maybe if you can answer that question again. So how are you going to put this into practice?
I will put into practice the instruction of the Guru, Sastra, and Sadhu.
Yes. So these are the 3 parameters for us to make advancement in spiritual life. Thank you very much. So, Saramai Mataji, please, your own. If one follow only the Shastra, Sadhu, omitting Guru and Shastra, what will happen?
Yeah, according to Prabhupada teaching, teaches us that Guru, Shastra, Guru, and Sadhu all should be in one line. That means whatever Shastra says, Sadhu should say the same thing, and Guru also say the same thing. If someone does not consider Guru and Shastra, then if Sadhu is not, then the Sadhu is not in proper place, that he will not give pure knowledge.
Thank you very much. And what the second one? If you are following Guru and Shastra omitting Sadhu, what will happen to such devotee?
If anyone understands scriptures, he is sadhu. And according to me, if someone is following Guru and Shastra, maybe there is no need of like sadhu. I don't understand.
Thank you very much. At least you are very sincere with your answer. Yeah, because see, you are right. You don't see any need for sadhu if someone is following Guru and Shastra. But the thing that is here is that the sadhu, they are the one who is living the, a sadhu is one who is living the instruction of a Guru and Shastra. Like now, you may not always have an opportunity to meet your Guru.
Yes,
and, yes. And also you may, many a time you may be hearing from your Guru, the Shastra. So how can you be able to understand the activity of the Shastra and Guru? Is by the sadhu who is living very close to you.
Okay.
So the sadhu also is equally important as your Guru and his instruction also, because the sadhu is the one who is directly living the instruction of the Guru and Shastra. Also, you can be a sadhu if you are following the instruction of a Guru and Shastra. You are a sadhu.
Okay.
So how are you going to, from now on, how are you going to be to practically apply this into your life?
Yeah, practically, like if anyone has the knowledge, can consider.
Not anyone. Saramai Mataji. Saramai Gopi Mataji. How are you going to apply this?
How I am going to apply? Yes, I can consider the another person as a sadhu if he has a scripture knowledge and he is following the Guru.
Yes. Very good. So you are a sadhu if you are following the scripture and Shastra. Yes, and because you are a sadhu doesn't mean that you have to omit the Guru and Shastra. Thank you very much, Saramai Gopi Mataji. So now we come to Ashwini Kumar Prabhu, please. Please unmute yourself, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, please, you give me the last one, number 6.
I gave you number 3 and number 6.
Oh, okay. I thought it's only number 6. Okay, let me quickly go to number 6. The Sastras is a basic, authentic. The Sastras is the basic and then authentic information from Krishna, directly from Krishna himself. Both the sadhu and the Guru, they all depend on this Sastra for the feed on this Sastra. So if the disciple decide to accept only the sadhu and the guru, all of them, all the three people may fall into darkness because they all feed on these shastras. So a disciple have to accept both the three for him to be enlightened, because the sadhu and the guru, they all feed on these shastras. This is the whole thing. Without the shastra, the sadhu and the guru may also fall into darkness. So there's a need that both the three people, the disciple, the sadhu, and the guru, they all feed on these shastras. This is what I understand.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. And you have omitted number 3, which is your own portion. If a devotee only follow the authority of the Shastra and omitting the Guru and Sadhu, what misconception and malpractice could arise from this?
He may get some misinterpretation of the Shastras.
Yes.
He may not understand the Shastras, because there's a Guru and a Sadhu who explains the Shastras. So it's good that one accepts both the Sadhu and the Shastra and the Guru and the Shastra. The three is all important.
Very good. Thank you very much, Prabhu. So how are you going to practically apply this also into your own life?
Yeah, you accept the Sadhu, the Guru, and the Shastras. All the three is combined to give you enlightenment. So this is what
how are you going to practically apply it? Like I explained in the beginning when I was telling Ram Prakash Prabhu, when we are answering practical application question, the response will be, I am going to do this, I am going to do that.
Yeah, I am going to accept the Sadhu, I am going to accept the Guru, and I'm going to accept the Shastras in my life.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhu. And if we work on these 3 parameters, we will not have any obstacle on our part of devotional service. It's very, very important. If Krishna himself can be making reference to sadhus, if we look in the first verse of text number 5, it says Rishi B Baudam Gitam. Krishna is referring to the sages. Rishi B Baudam. It doesn't need to refer to the sages. The sages are the sadhus here. They are the sadhus here. It doesn't need to refer to the sages, but it's referring to the sages to show us by example how also we should follow suit. And here also, he said Brahma Sutra. So Krishna is referring to both sadhus and the Shastra. And Krishna himself has his own guru when he came to the planet. He has his own guru. He's a supreme personality of God. He doesn't need to have any guru, but still, just to show us by example, he has a guru. And now when he's speaking, he's referring to the sadhus and he's referring to the scripture. Ripshubi Baudam Gitam. Shandu bi Rividai Pritak. Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra is a scripture. Vedanta Sutra. So Krishna himself, if he can do this, showing us by example, we have to follow in the footsteps of Krishna. So, and the last verse we're going to read today in this lesson, I don't know, till now, I don't know, is there any question, comment based on whatever we have discussed so far? Let us do that before we can go to the conclusion of this particular lesson. Is there any question, comment, contribution? Anybody want to contribute something? Any comments? No contribution, no question? Everything is okay so far? Hello, Dr. Prince? Dr. Prince, you want to ask any question?
No, I'm still having problem with my phone.
Oh, okay, sorry. I can solve that underground. So now we're going to read from the chapter 13, 6 and 7. So this is a very detailed explanation about the first question of Kshetra. So Krishna gave full list of what comprises of Kshetra, the field of activities. I will just read the Sanskrit from here. Say, Mahabhutani Hankaru Buddhi Avyaktameva cha Indriyani Daisaikam cha Panchatidriya Gocharaha Echa Dvesha Sukham Dukam Sangatas Chaitana Dritihi Etachitram Samasena Safikaram Udaritam. So here Krishna is giving all the list of what comprises of it, and this, as a devotee, we should try to study it very, very, very deeply. You can, maybe when you come to study Bhakti Baba, you in Canto 3, Maitreya Rishi explained very detailed about the creation. It's very, very nicely detailed in how all these elements come from each other, how the earth come from the, the first one, you say, Krishna said, the 5 great elements. What are those 5 great elements? In the purport explain those 5 great Mahabhuta. What are they? The earth, water, ether, fire, air. These are the great elements. Mahabhuta. Yeah. So, and we know them: earth, fire. We have earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These are the 5 great elements. Then higher than that, we have force, ego, intelligence, and the mind also. And Krishna says, "This unmanifested." What is this unmanifested? This unmanifested is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam as Pradhan. Pradhan, unmanifested. What does that mean? Pradhan means when the activity, when all the elements are in their neutral stage, they have not reacted with the most of material nature, because all these elements on their own, they cannot form anything. But with the interaction with the most of material nature, they started producing different senses and all the rest. Like the mind comes from the mixture of the modes and the mode on the mixture of the mode in the mode of passion. The mind come from the mode of mixture with the mode of goodness. Intelligence come from the passion, and the senses come from ignorance. So the mixture is just like when you have all the ingredients in your kitchen, and everything is just there. You have rice, you have vegetable, you have this, you have that. Everything is just lying down there. Unless somebody comes here and mix them up, nothing will happen. So the same thing also with the glance of the Supreme Lord and the mixture of the most of material nature, then all the different living entities, the senses, everything started evolving. So Krishna is explaining here, what are those field of activities? Our field of activities, the 5 great elements: force, ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses. What are those 10 senses? We all know them, both the 10 knowledge acquiring senses and 10 working senses. I don't know, maybe if you read the purport to this particular verse, we are going to get purport explain all these details there. The 10 working senses and 10 knowledge acquiring senses. Then we have the mind. Then we have the 5 sense objects. Then we have desire, hatred, happiness. All these desire, hatred, happiness, distress, they are all the object of our interaction of these senses. The result. Then we have the aggregate, the life symptoms, the conviction. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activity and its interaction. So everything is explained here. We have the 5 great elements: ether, air, fire, water, earth, 5 senses of objects: sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. 5 knowledge acquiring senses: ear, skin, eyes, tongue, and nose. We have the 5 working senses: speech, hand, leg, anus, and genitals. We have the force, ego, intelligence, unmanifested mind. All these things, these are all comprises of the chitra, the field of activity. So now is the living entity. When the living entity, all these things, they are the field of activity, and the interaction with the living entity produces the different categories of activities in this material world. So based on these elements, like in the next lesson, we are going to talk about the Krishna talk about knowledge, starting from humility and the rest. It's based on our interaction with this field of activity that we can develop this knowledge to understand the Supreme Personality of God Himself. So the connection is, unless we are fully aware of the field of activity, which is part of the Sambandha Gyan, unless we are fully aware about the field of activity, which is Sambandha Gyan, then Abhideya will be very difficult. That is it, the process of devotional service. And that is why we see Krishna is taking his time to explain all these things. Because unless we are acquainted with Sambandha Gyan, the knowledge of our connection with this material nature, it's just like if you find yourself in a cell, you must be aware, what brings me here? What can I do to get out of this place? What is the situation around me? So Krishna is taking his time to explain all this detailed knowledge, because now we have found ourselves in this material nature. And we have to have full knowledge of what this material nature is, which is the field of activity, our body, what is this, which is the field of activity itself, the living entity himself, which is the enjoyer, Purusha, and the Supreme Lord himself, which later on the Krishna is going to explain in this verse, in this chapter. So this knowledge is very, very important in our devotional. So at the end of the day, Krishna will take his time to explain all these things in chapter 13. In chapter 14, he's going to explain about the modes of material nature also, which is due to the interaction of these modes, we determine whether we are conditioned in this field of activity or how we are going to liberate ourselves. So there's connection with this knowledge that Krishna is giving us. And it's our duty to make you see the connection. All these senses, when we engage them in our own service, we become conditioned. But all these senses, when we engage it in the service of Krishna, then we become liberated. Zavarupadi vine muktanam, tapratina nirmanam, rishikena rishikesha, sevana bhakti uchate. Sarupadi, we are all identifying ourselves with this field of activity. I'm this body, I'm from India, I'm from Nigeria, I'm born, I'm this, I'm that, I'm yellow, I'm black. Some or the other, we are identifying with ourselves with this body. Sarupadi, vine muktanam. Unless we completely separate ourselves from this field of activity, sometimes we are happy, sometimes distressed. Why? Due to the activity of the modes of material nature. Identifying ourselves with the body, attaching ourselves to our activity. And you see, all these field of activity, Krishna is going to explain them even in chapter 18, chapter 17 and 18, how the modes influences all this field of activity to give us different results in life. Krishna is going to explain how speech in us, speaking in the mode of goodness can liberate us, how charity in the mode of all the activity we perform with this field of activity. Krishna is going to explain how we can liberate ourselves from this. So that is why this knowledge is very, very important. And that is why we see Bhagavad Gita is a preliminary study. When you enter into Bhagavatam, there is detailed study about all these field of activities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is what we call Sankhya Yoga, understanding all these detailed elements. The head, the air, the water, the air, everything. This is what is surrounding us. And that is why when you're in a particular country, you behave in a particular way. Because why? Bhakti Thakur explains, the water of that country, the air we breathe in that country, everything is affecting our life. That is the connection. If you're in Ghana, you behave in a particular way. If you're in Nigeria, you behave in a particular way. If you're in India, you behave in a particular way. Just like, for example, when you go to Vrindavan, immediately you step into Vrindavan, you start the first thing you start saying is about, you start saying Jairade. That is what is going in the air. You start feeling those energy. Devotion become very easy for you. Chanting become very easy for you. Because that is what is going into the air. We breathe as we breathe in. Unlike when you are in a country, other country where other, is not so much devotional like the Holy Dam. Even for you to finish your 16 rounds in the morning become very difficult. You'll be struggling to wake up to chant your 16 rounds, especially when you are not in the temple. It's very easier for those who are in the temple. You have to push yourself, then you have to chant. Even when you are chanting, so many things going on in your mind. It's because of the environment. So all these things influence our life. And that's what Krishna is saying here. So I will stop here today. That is the end of this first lesson. So I don't know, maybe there's some question, comments, based on whatever we have discussed so far.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, yeah.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. The exercise you are giving is good, that we can use our mind to understand what is there. Yeah, it's practical.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any question? Based on what we have done so far. If no question, I'm going to ask my own question. Are you ready for my question? And this my question is going to be 10 marks. That is if you don't answer any question. So we start recording your marks from here. So, and also I will encourage for us to read the next lesson, which is the next lesson is from chapter, I want everybody to see. Second lesson is going to be from chapter 13, text 8 to 19. So we should read it before tomorrow. Read it, take notes, put question down, so that by tomorrow, the lecture should be more interactive. I want it to be more interactive. I speak, you speak. It's not one way. This is adult education. It's not just, I come here, I come and download all what I know for you. No, it's not like that. We are learning. I come, I speak, based on whatever you have read also that you don't understand, or you want to explain based on how you understood it, you come out with, and in that way, it will be more interactive. So that is what we're going to, tomorrow is going to be 8 to 19, that is lesson 2. So in the absence of no question, I think I will call it a day. One hour, 30 minutes is enough. But tomorrow I will plead that we should come earlier. And we should not delay. We should not delay. 1 hour, 30 minutes is enough for each lesson. That is normally the normal time. But if I say I want to talk and keep you, it doesn't change anything. But it should be more interactive. So thank you very much. So I will call it a day now. Banchaka pataru vyascha, kiprasindo biya ivacha, patitanam pavanevyo, vaishnavevyo. So see you tomorrow. Yaduna Prabhu, what are you doing here? You already passed out now. this level. What are you doing here?
I have to help myself now.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
I'm still in.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
So thank you very much, Mataji and Prabhuji. See you tomorrow morning. Hare Krishna.